Alrighty, everybody. Hello, 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 hello. Konnichiwa, konbanwa, ni hao. I see some people talking in Dutch, so hello in Dutch. Gut. I know Guten Tag, but that's German. Hi, everybody. I'm GhostKumo, and this is going to be a run of East 9 Monstrum Nox for the PC. And joining me is a special guest, current world record holder, Jado. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh yeah, my name's Jado. I also run this game. I also break East games apparently. Uh,
we kind
yeah,
of we kind of have a bit of a recurring joke with how much Jado has broken the 3D East games. He's currently working on East 7, breaking the less broken category into more broken than previously. So see me on this screen. The main reason is that I'm playing as White Cat. We're not going to be seeing her anymore because she's been routed out of the game, unfortunately. So as kind of suggested by the estimate of the game, we'll go ahead and get straight to title screen. This is a very, very busted game. I won't be going over too many plot events for the simple fact that there just simply is not enough time to explain those and then the rest of the run. So this run should be mostly spoiler-free for those of you who haven't played it. I recommend you do play this game if you like the other East games. I consider it, probably in the middle of the pack of the East games casually, which, I mean, this is one of my favorite series of all time, so middle of the pack there is pretty good overall. There's a lot of really neat things in this game for people who are longtime fans / veterans of the series. But we won't delay too much longer. I will go ahead and just give a little bit of background information, just so that we don't have to talk about it too much during the run. The basic premise of this game, it is the most recent game in the chronology of the East series, with our buddy Adol Kristen once again setting out for adventure and getting arrested immediately at the start of the game. So yeah, we go into a prison town and he gets arrested because he's been on too many adventures, and they think that all the magic things that he has seen and survived make him not a good person. But also the prison is very corrupt. So that's the basic premise of what all goes on in this game. I'm running the game 16 by 9 at 1920 by 1080 because that actually matters. It actually makes things faster. But I do have a lot of the settings lowered. This game does look prettier when you turn up some of the settings. But I've lowered them mainly because this game can be quite resource intensive. And then finally, we'll be doing this on easy. I know some people are sticklers for difficulty in East games, but I'll just tell you outright, the Lunatic difficulty run, you spend a good solid just chunk of time using a glitch to repeat an EXP item, so the difference in difficulty really isn't that significant between these, it's just time. It's a neat glitch, but we won't be doing that, and we'll be using strats in this that will kind of invalidate the difficulty in a lot of ways anyway. But without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. Once I say go, 3, 2, 1, go. So, you might be hearing some clicking. That's just me mashing circle and cancel to try and skip cutscenes, because thankfully you can skip cutscenes in this game, which is really nice. So this game kind of starts off in medias res. Adol already broke out of prison, and he is going to be rolling, Limp Bizkitting his way through the rest of the sewers, which is sort of the tutorial for this game. I currently have voices set to English because apparently that upsets people, and I like to upset people. I don't mind the voices. I think the dub and sub are about equal. Anyways, we're getting a sword here, because you have to get the sword to advance. Now you're going to see me do something here called an attack roll cancel here, where you attack into a roll, and that kind of cancels the momentum. It cancels lag animation. So that's why in some places that I can hold a weapon, you're going to see me flip-flopping around. I'm going to do a roll here to preserve a little bit of stamina. And this is going to allow me to perform a line dash here pretty quickly. So as you see, Adol is turned into a caped crusader here by the name of the Crimson King. That is his alter ego, aka his Monstrum form. And that's gonna come into the story later in the game. So we have a double jump, and then a mid-air roll, and then, yeah, attack, roll, cancel. So Jado, if you would, you please explain the basics of combat here while I try to not lose too much time to this first little tutorial boss here.
Yeah, so he's mainly going to be going for sort of like down stabs because they deal quite a bit of damage and they generate a lot of SP. As you can see, you can also Crimson Line onto an enemy to get closer. It's usually the fastest way to get close to an enemy. So we have access to, if you're familiar with like East 8 or some of the other series, Flash Guard and Flash Move are in this as well.
Yep.
Flash Guard basically just parries the attack and you get above your damage and you become invulnerable. And Flash Move just kind of speeds up your animation as well as making you invulnerable.
Yeah, it speeds up animation and it gives you kind of a couple seconds of like bullet time. If you're familiar with like platinum action games, you don't take damage and everything moves slowly. Flash guards are mainly for the. You know, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna save here because the game can crash on this scene, as has happened to Jado on this very channel before. Yeah, so if you saw the like questing for glory, hope, and healing run of this game, this is a lot faster. It's like, I think the like estimate for this game has been cut in half since then. Alright, so we got arrested. It flashed back here, and we got arrested, and now we're breaking out of prison, which Adol's been in prison so many times in his life, he's just kind of accustomed to breaking out of prison. I can assure you there aren't very many places this game crashes. This game actually launched with a pretty stable PC port, but sometimes it just happens on that one scene and like one other scene. I have backup saves for the rest, but I forgot to make one for that spot, so I just wanted to make sure. So yeah, now we're fugitives, and we need a disguise. So we go into this abandoned house when nobody sees us, and then now we have a scarf and black hair. It looks kind of bluish, but it's supposed to be black. Because Adol's hair is very distinct, despite everyone in this universe having anime hair. So we need to explore our surroundings here. This is the city of Balduke, aka the city of lag, because it just tends to lag quite a bit. But before we really do much of anything, we're immediately called into this weird other dimension here. I don't remember exactly what they call this, the Grimwald. Grimwalds are like one sort of thing for this like other world, but you see like 5 other characters behind me. These are the other party members. We are only going to be seeing 3 of them in this run, unfortunately. Because we just sequence break the ever-loving crap out of this game. Even more so than we used to. So yeah, as Jado mentioned, we're going to be doing a fair bit of down thrust because that replenishes SP. The little blue meter on the bottom right notates how much SP I have. A full meter's 100 points, basically, and the number of points that any given skill takes is noted on the little four buttons on the bottom right. I can bind skills there, and each one uses a certain amount of SP. I'm not actually going to be learning and using any new skills in this run, so no need to worry too much about that. So this section is a raid. It is the one and only raid that we do. It's like an enemy gauntlet. We get a nice little reward for this, thankfully. It's going to be useful in the run, but we really don't want to be doing these because they're quite time-consuming, especially some of the later ones. So there's a little mini-boss here of this dog. So I want to see him do that, and I get my Flash Guard invulnerability. I jump up for that spin attack, and then get a couple more seconds of Flash Guard invulnerability, get some more here, and well done. Alright. My execution so far is sorry, what?
Oh, the doggo is playing nice.
He was playing
Usually
nice.
He can just completely run off.
Yeah, dog just likes to run off to the Sphene, which is the thing that we're protecting. Alright. Yeah, Doggo played nice, even though I lost quite a bit of time on this split here. I don't know, maybe I'm just having performance issues or something. Oh well. So that is chapter 1, and the very last chapter that we're going to be doing as intended. So, chapter 2, The White Cat's Melancholy. We need to do a bunch of tutorial shenanigans before the game will give us the ability to actually use Monstrum abilities and transform into Monstrum form in Balduke, and that is what breaks this game. So first things first, we're going to try and leave town, but as it turns out, we cannot leave through the front entrance. There's a barrier there, and there's barriers all throughout the town, which are designed to sort of sequence you through this game. You're supposed to do a whole bunch of things, raise the Nox meter to the top left to unlock these Grimwalds, which are basically these horde missions, that doing those clear off the barriers one by one throughout the town. But, you explore this town quite thoroughly across this game, across several different chapters. I think this game is 8 chapters long, plus a finale and a prologue.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Yeah, so we're asking around town. We're going to go to this place here called the Pendletons. Very wealthy business that kind of deals in stuff that have been heavily involved in the shantytown to the east, which is kind of the plot line for Chapter 2. We will be going to Shantytown, although we're not going to be doing any Chapter 2 plot lines. So, first go over to the armor seller here. I'm not going to buy anything, but I'm required to talk to this guy. And then, thankfully, this game has a very robust fast travel system, so I fast travel back to where I started, talk to this guy, and he gives me a bottle, and the bottle is something you can use for making potions. We are not going to do that. You're going to be hearing me say that a lot, so I apologize if I sound like a broken record.
Thankfully, warping to the same map doesn't actually reload the whole map.
Yeah. So now I can use Crimson Line in town. I haven't really mentioned Crimson Line, but it's just a dash to any sort of glowing red point. And so I need to get into the sewers, but we're not going to go into the sewers that way, which is normally what's intended. So now I can Crimson Line up here and do the first sequence break. And as is common in East games, when you break one thing in the sequence, you break a lot. Alright, so I'm going to do a save here, because this can be kind of tricky. So jump, jump, attack, attack. And I just barely get enough distance to clear a cutscene trigger barrier that's supposed to prevent me from getting here. So now I'm in the shantytown early, and all scripted events in this area don't play correctly, so I can just skip straight into the Chapter 2 sewers before having actually initiated the proper sequence. And this is going to allow me to just utterly break this game, because you break one thing in this sequence, you break a lot. Face my camera correctly here, and then spawn these 5 enemies. This is not necessary, but it gets me 20 Nox points in the top left. Those are going to be exchanged for resources here. So, Jada, you want to explain this jump here? At the start of the sewers?
Okay, so a trick with Crimson Line is to be able to latch onto something, your camera has to see it. So even if you can... So if you bend your camera around corners or above ledges, you can actually grab on. So he can kind of position himself by jumping and then able to grab onto that from below, and that skips getting the war run ability.
Come on.
He also does the same with this war grate.
Yeah, so there's some camera shenanigans here. Usually don't fail this badly. Come on. Alright. What is going on? I usually don't fail this much. Ah. Camera's throwing me off here. There we go.
So
yes.
that one actually skips the first boss. But because we got into this place early, none of the bosses are actually active here anyway.
Yeah, nor is frankly, one of the best themes in the game plays in this dungeon, so sadly that's not there. Although I did put it in the playlist beforehand, so if you were here in the intermission, you heard it. Alright, so yeah, the boss at the end here isn't loaded. And the thing with this game is you're supposed to go into Balduke Prison quite often at several different points throughout the game's story. Many different chapters you're supposed to come in here. But when things aren't loaded, the barriers that keep you from exploring around this place are just gone, so you just kind of turn this game into almost an open world type game at this point. So, yeah, I'm going from... This is the, like, end of the Chapter 2 sequence. We're gonna go straight to the end of Chapter 4 here. Okay. Made sure I didn't mess that roll up. So yeah, this is the end of Chapter 4 part of this dungeon. So I'm going to set this save point here. It's also a warp point that's really useful. I say save point, you can save anywhere in this game, but if you die, you go back to one of those instead. Alright, so we're going to Crimson Line our way up here, and then, Jado, you want to explain the pressure plate?
So, for some reason this pressure plate has a weird property. When you jump off it, you can kind of... It puts you almost in this like pseudo cutscene state, and if we jump and pause and use the map actually, when you open the map, it advances the game like a few frames. And then if you warp away after that jump, it'll put you in this state until the door like fully closes. And if you hold M during that, while in the new area, it will like span map, and then eventually it'll put you in a cutscene state. And this cutscene state is very, very broken.
Yeah, the map allows us to kind of hold on to this cutscene state. As long as I don't accidentally trigger any... As long as I don't accidentally trigger any, like hit any cutscene triggers in Balduke, I can freely move around and just bypass all those barriers that I mentioned that keep you from exploring later portions of the town earlier. So yeah, that treasure chest that I just got is the trigger for the end of Chapter 4, although it's going to trigger the end of Chapter 2 instead. So yeah, we use that to get cutscene storage. I have to quickly warp to town and then hold the map to be able to move around town, and then I set up a warp point near the end of Chapter 5. That's going to be useful for later, or the middle of Chapter 5, because we want to do stuff with Chapter 5 scenarios. But yeah, now the game's in Chapter 3. I need to talk to a few NPCs here in my bar. Turns out that the best way to hide is in plain sight, so we just set up this bar in this old abandoned building. Alright, so... exchange some resources here. These are going to be useful for exchanging for a really good item. Because we're going to be breaking the tar out of this game, we're going to be fighting enemies severely underleveled, so I need these items to trade for an accessory that is going to allow me to actually kill late-game enemies. And it's kind of ingenious, if you ask me, how this all works. Alright, so I've talked to everyone in my building here. So the next thing I'm going to do, warp to the center of town. Dash over here. Now I picked up an elixir back in the shantytown, and then I also got one as a reward, so I got 17,000 gold. I'm going to buy 21 black figs. These are partially for safety, but they are useful in the route. They're a revival item that revives me with 100 HP, which is very good. And then this NPC here, Maxim, I'm going to trade all the stuff that I picked up for a violet glove, and that allows me to poison enemies. So the next thing I'm going to do, just make sure I'm getting the sequence right. I paused or I stalled there for a second. We're going to warp back to the Chapter 4 section, and once again we're going to use the pressure plate glitch. I do need to be careful here because the enemies here can one-shot me, because this is a much later area. Alright, so press the button to... Oh, I died. That's fine.
No.
This is why we have this warp point here. Alright, get on the platform. Jump, map, quickly menu, and then this time I don't need to hold down the map, so I'm gonna go here, and then I'm gonna play this cutscene that's like, I want to say Chapter 7 or 8, This is why you're going to see like all of my party members here, even though they haven't joined me yet. I do need to let this play out in full before I skip. I skip the next cutscene instead. And so this allows me to activate the arena in Chapter 5, which is where we get Bull, aka Yufa, who's our 5th party member in the game. And she's going to be our main damage dealer for the rest of the game. In her joining the party, we also get Doll in the party, which is really useful because Doll has really good movement, but on top of that, because she has the same weapon type as Adol, all of my party members get a 15% damage bonus. Alright, so buy enough of those, and then the next thing I need to do is dash over here. Now this is supposed to be how we get into a chapter 5 dungeon, but we don't have Monstrum abilities other than Crimson Line at this point, so triggering this gets me all of the abilities, including Wall Run, Glide, and the ability to break stuff. Nope. Alright, so now we have Bull, and she's level 31, which means that I won't get one shot in this spot. Anyways, Bull's great. I like Bull. Alright, so we're going to perform this trick again. Then once again we're going to do the map, and then I'm going to actually warp to the center of town. And we're just going to go straight to endgame now, because we have everything we need. Believe it or not, we have done barely anything, and we have everything we need. So yeah, now I can hover. So Jado, you want to explain extended jump hovers? Or extended hovers?
So we can do a trick with Hawk's ability, Hunter's Ascent, by having one button set to roll and swap, and then rolling over from jump to that roll and plus swap bind. In a certain rhythm, you can essentially cover a lot of distance, and depending on how often you do those inputs, you can kind of change how much height you get or how much distance you get.
Wait, there's no point to saving here. Okay. Alrighty, so this is the trigger for endgame, is the graveyard here. We're not supposed to get here until very well late into the game. So we are stupidly underleveled. I forgot the cheese gratin, but I got it. I saved it. I'm going to use my boost here because this lowers the damage that I take. And my main goal here is to apply poison stacks to these enemies. They don't take a lot of damage, but they take percentage damage over time with poison, so having it applied constantly makes it so that I can do a really good amount of damage to enemies that I otherwise would be stupidly underleveled for. So we're going to go from level 32 to level like 46 in this part. And you're also going to see me spamming the same couple of skills a lot here. I promise there is tech and like an interesting rhythm to it. But on the surface it might seem like I'm just spamming to win, which, to be fair, spin to win is a fun strat.
Another effective boost here is that it increases your hitbox of your skills. So you can hit.
Yeah, you're gonna see me mainly using her 64 SP skill bound to triangle, and Valkyrie Hammer, which is her Monstrum gift, which can be used in combat. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it replenishes SP really quickly, so it allows me to just spam skills a ton in this fight. Wait, there's just this random guy just sitting there, and I was like, did I miss an enemy? No, I didn't. It's just an NPC that I forgot is in this part. Yeah, so this enemy in particular is weak to slash damage, which my other two characters have, but like they don't do jack for damage, so I mainly wanted to poison this guy. Sadly, I didn't apply a poison stack sooner, so... Alright. Flash guards also replenish SP, like, really consistently. Honestly, I think this game went a little too ridiculous in terms of how much meter it gives you for stuff. But, for the sake of the speedrun, it makes this a lot more doable. But yeah, the main objective is just to keep poison applied. Any additional damage I do is kind of like bonus. Alright, so this should be the last wave here. This fish guy is like the worst because it's the one that's the hardest to actually apply poison stacks to. And he also just kind of draws aggro away from him. He also blinks around the arena, which sucks. Also, because there's so much sound playing, this fight just tends to have a lot of just like volume issues. So I can assure you that's not the stream if the volume seems to have shifted a little bit. That's just the game. This guy is not giving me like any good poison luck. This is one of very few components of RNG into this game. Alright, he's dead. Okay. And so those 6 waves start the end game. There's gonna be 3 more waves on this like section through the Grimwald here. But these enemies are simple. I just have to kill these 4 enemies in here before the next barricade will lower. They have not been giving me... They've been not cooperating and grouping up like I want them to. It's kind of sad. Wow, this poison luck is really something.
I've not seen it this bad.
I've seen it like this once. It really stinks. Alright. So that little screen blink there informs me that I can advance. I don't need to attack roll cancel when I'm in boost, thankfully. It's actually slower to do so. And you move faster while you're in boost, so there is a little bit of optimization with just having boost ready to whenever you need to move. Let's make sure I have that going. That ran out a little bit earlier. Won't affect me too bad, but... Alright, so one final wave. I love the line in the dialogue there where White Cat's just like, we've been through a lot together. It's like, I have literally never seen you in my life. This run is not even 25 minutes in. It's one of those big things I've always just found funny about the speedrun, is this character's talking as if like, you know, we're Fireforged friends, and I'm like, I've never met any of you people. Also, Hawk doesn't like any of you people. I love Hawk, I'm so sad he's not in the run anymore. Alright, so we are now hitting the final dungeon. So, considering we've got here in about 25 minutes, this place is stupid broken. It kind of needs to be in order for us to be able to complete the game. But thankfully, since we have like, the different gifts of all of our party members, can make progress here. Used to be you had to clip out of bounds to get past this door, but because we have Bull in the party now, we don't have to worry about that. Alright, so I'm gonna run up this wall here. and then do an extended hover to get up here early. This saves a little bit of movement. And go over to this chest, because this gets me a reagent for a really useful thing. Actually, that's not what I'm talking about. This gets me a really useful accessory. But I do need to collect stuff to forge a really good item. So, Jada, you want to explain Crimson Line canceling here? Or the,
okay,
the Crimson Line, you know, buffer.
So, with Crimson Line, if you grab onto something that's like kind of like behind a wall or like around a corner, it will actually drag you through it. We can't actually pause during the drag-in. However, if we pause and use Crimson Line at the same time, and then open the map, which advances the game like a few frames, eventually we can buffer the drag-in, and since we have access to the menu, we can save and load when the dragon is out of bounds, and then that will just cancel out the rest of the dragon animation. And it's just an easy way of getting out of bounds.
Yep. So now we're going to do the longest extended hover in the game. This is bad. I lost so much height there. Am I going to get enough? I think I should just barely get enough here. Okay. Saved it. We saved it. Yep. Okay, I'm getting enough. Calculated, baby. So I need to get just enough height to get in through this specific part here, and then fly over to the end here. So this saves about like 20 seconds of movement, like compared to optimal. More importantly, it looks really, really cool. I do apologize for the spammed voice lines, if only slightly, because it's Ys, like, and if you think this is bad, Xenoblade 3 is after this, so like, you ain't seen nothing. So yeah, I need to collect a few useful resources here to turn into the best weapon that I can get in the game, which is what I'm focusing on right now. I could just go straight to the final boss right now, but I need a means to actually do damage. So we used to clip out of bounds to get past this door, and it was the worst skip in the entire game. Thankfully, we don't have to do that anymore because we have Bull in the party. I am so glad we have Bull in the party. You have no idea. As an aside, I love Doll. Like, her animations in combat are just so good. Like, I'm happy she's in the run, even if she's not used for combat. So once again, we're so there's these three like void areas that you're supposed to go through to beat this game, but as it turns out, we're not going to be doing any of that. We're going here to get the blueprints to make the best item, and then we're going to go collect one more thing that we need to forge it over this way. I'm going to do a safe strat here, unless I get like a really good hover here. I'll try the risky strat. Oh, I got it. I got enough height that I should be able to clear the gap here. All right, we got the fast strat. And then we're going to warp to the Dandelion. And now, this kid that we were supposed to save in Chapter 2, he is the smith, and I talked to him to forge a really, really good late-game weapon for Yufa. Menu this very carefully. Because there is no "Are you sure?" prompt here. Yeah, so we sequence broke and erased the table from existence. Alright. So, next thing I'm gonna do... switch to Doll. Equip... give her the level up there. I still have the Cheese Gratin up. Equip her with this, de-equip her armor, because I want to take damage, and then I don't need to poison enemies, so I'm gonna replace the, whoops. Okay, Crimson Line buffer here. Listen for a voice clip there, listen for the dash, and then buffer the map 4 times. 3, 4. And then load while we're in the animation, and that should get us past this barrier here. So I gave Bull / Yufa a I gave her a item that gives her 1 level up. I de-equipped her armor because I actually want to be taking damage, because I gave her an accessory called the War King's Cape. The War King's Cape makes it so that you do double damage if you are at 1 HP, and it scales from there. So the lower your HP, the more damage you do. So we're going to actually sandbag and deliberately take a death. Or at least get our HP really low. It's partially why I have the black figs as well. Alright. So, final boss time. So this is Atronox Luna, I think is his name. It's quite an annoying fight. And it's going to be a lot of just repetitive motions because Bull's spin skill and extra skill just do a lot of damage. So yeah, I'm going to deliberately take damage here. Okay, oh, I was hoping he would do the triple attack there. Okay. This ain't bad. So yeah, you're gonna see me doing a lot of this and a lot of my my triangle skill. I get a flash guard here, which means that I can actually use my extra skill twice against this guy if I time it right. Oh, I didn't quite get enough meter. So this is what the black figs are for. So yeah, I'm level 56, and this boss is level 83. So alright, so I get a flash guard, and I can do extra skill, one use of her 64 SP skill, and then another extra skill in just barely enough time to get the flash guard mini crit on both extra skills and the triangle skill. Ah, that didn't hit the bulk of the damage. The problem with Bull's extra skill is that oh, come on. The problem with Bull's extra skill is it has 2 hits, and it's very easy to accidentally miss the second one. Also, the voice clips here get really weird. Somebody in chat's asking if it did 5,800 damage. Yes, it did, without crits. Oh, come on, I didn't get any flash guards there. I rarely see him use that attack, so like I might have forgotten how it works. Alright. That. I dashed a little too far because I was in boost. And once again I missed. This has really not been a great Atronox fight. There we go. Cool. Alright, so that's phase 1, and then we're gonna do the like little multi-part Dark God boss, and I'm just gonna warn you, this fight stinks. this fight, it's not particularly difficult, but it can be kind of painful on the eyes. This is the only fight in the one of the few bosses, and definitely the only like boss in the run that uses Doll's special eye powers. I think it's called Evil Eye, I forget the exact name, but
Third Eye, I think.
Third Eye, yeah. She allows her to see special things, which in the second phase of this boss means the boss's weak point. So it's one of those. Unfortunately, it is an absolute eyesore, so I apologize for anyone who might be colorblind and have a hard time seeing what's going on. I don't know if colorblindness would affect that fight in particular, but it's not pretty. This game does actually have multiple colorblind modes, like multiple for each of the different like red, blue. I don't remember the exact names. Try to know the like the 3 main common types of colorblindness. So like if you do have accessibility concerns, like those are there. I don't have them on for this run, unfortunately, but yeah, for anyone who'd be interested in playing this game, those are there. So he summoned these stabs, which explode and just do a ton of damage, which is really good for me, because I really want my strength bonus up. Alright, so that's phase 1 of Anima or Gastelum down. So now we're on to phase 2, and this is the one that I've been alluding to. So yeah, the first phase, you just hit the different body parts and deliberately take damage. But yeah, we're gonna go full Virtual Boy here. Half the run is the final boss. I'd say like 25%. It's about 11 minutes. Alright, so I'm gonna turn on Third Eye here, and I need to look for any of the spikes on his back that are glowing with a yellow flame. Thankfully they get one-shot by her skill. Her 64 SP skill. And yeah, this fight's kinda luck dependent. Come on. Aww. I know which one it is, I just need to be able to dash to it, but I ran out of stamina, so I have to wait for it. Alright. I unfortunately haven't had the best luck with taking damage in this fight like I've wanted to, so I only have about like 1.5 times damage, but it's enough to at least kill the spires here.
Very much the first phase, like depending on how much damage you take on the first phase.
Yep.
Will determine how fast this fight goes. There was actually a route that wasn't able to get the doll's power, so you had to do this.
You had to do this completely
basically
blind. Yeah, with trial and error, that completely stank. So thank goodness we don't have that. But that was also the old route of where getting height was a lot more of a pain. Alright, this should kill, I think. There we go. And that's the final boss. So time will be in a couple of minutes. Flashing lights warning on this part. I mean, probably there was a bit on that previous section, but yeah, there's gonna be a lot of flashing white light here. Don't worry about the text here. This is all like references to past Ys games. It only makes sense if you've really played the past Ys games, but it's just a nice little reference.
Also egg.
Also egg.
No matter how
I see the egg emojis in chat now. So yeah, we're just gonna repeatedly hit this egg until it explodes. Alright, so here's where the light's gonna get pretty bright and flashy, so avert thine eyes. Alright, so we have broken the curse on the town, saved the princess, and now we need to go find another castle. Or something. I think that's how the plot goes. I don't know. I was here for 4 hours of Super Paper Mario, so shoutouts to Double Dogi, by the way. So the game's simultaneously like in chapter 4 and at the end of the game right now. Oops, I need to go out here first. So this is just the obligatory say goodbye to everyone you've talked to part of the game. Everyone you've met on your journey. And then head off to parts unknown. Yeah, so there's a lot of Latin and a lot of like there's occasional stuff of like Greek and Latin, because Greek and Latin they had a lot to do with one another back in the day, but it's mostly Latin because the city is meant to be like based on ancient Rome. And in fact, the giant sewers are named Cloaca Maxima, which is the name of like the first big Roman sewer system. So yeah, it's a pretty cool game. I hope y'all enjoyed the run. We're coming up on the end of the run here, so I'll call time here in just a second. And time. So 43:40 on my end. Actually got a couple of gold splits in some of the parts that I actually did fairly well on, so that's nice, even though my splits are dated, so they're kind of fake golds. Yeah, not bad. Some performance issues here and there. It's also a hard run to commentate and perform, just because the APM is just massive. I hope y'all enjoyed. I do really love this series. If you're at all interested in the Ys series, we have a Discord. You can find it on pretty much every Ys page on speedrun.com. You can talk to me, you can talk to Giotto, and we'll usually get you the resources that you would need. So I love this series dearly. Yeah. So Giotto, if you have anything you want to shout out?
Yeah. GG on the run. Pretty much the same stuff as Ghost has said.
Yeah, thanks for being here and helping me with this. Yeah, so
always a pleasure.
Yeah, I do gotta give shout outs to Giotto, who worked heavily on this game. It's routes. It's been rerouted like 3 times since it came out first in Japan on the PS4. Actually, probably like 4 or 5 times. But yeah, Giotto did a lot of work and found a lot of strats and optimizations, and kind of helped reverse engineer a run that was done by a Japanese runner by the name of Mabo. So huge shoutouts to Mabo. Weren't really able to communicate with him on getting the route figured out, but we eventually did and helped improve it. He has the record in the highest difficulty, by the way, so that's worth checking out. Shoutouts to Lost. I was one of the first runners of this game. Impinge, another Japanese runner. And Frozer, who's also helped out quite a bit, ran this game for Falcom RTA Marathon. So that's pretty much the roll call for most of the active runners of this game. But there are a few others who, if I didn't name, I apologize. But that'll do it for me. Keep watching Questing for Glory. I love this marathon, and I'm happy to be a part of it. Next up, from this really short run with a lot of voice clips, is going to be a lengthy run with a lot of voice clips, and that'll be Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So stick around.